Good day, everyone. We are here to present our research proposal entitled Social Media Use and Creative Writing Skills of BS and Freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus.
The first part of our research consists of its problem and its background. So the first part is the introduction. So the use of social media has been a natural tool for entertainment and outlet for a lot of people. And it has evolved into one of the most essential digital platforms for connecting with others. Social media is a useful instrument for students because it keeps them updated with trending news and essential news. It is used by students as a means of expressing their emotions and opinions, which can be somewhat helpful for their mental health and reasoning skills. So according to Aldera et al. 2019, globally it was proven that social media is dominant on the writing skill or performance of a student. Social media transforms the genres and forms of writing that promotes development in writing, increase student motivation, and audience and authorship awareness. Meanwhile, in the Philippines, according to Cabrera 2018, social media has a certain positive impact for English language learning. But there are also negative effects regarding its use. It can distract learners with content that is unscholarly, ungrammatical, misinformation, obscene and incorrect language, and unrealistic human interaction. So the main social media sites that students mostly use are Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Meanwhile, there are certain types of writing and creative writing skills which is mostly observed, which are poetry and fictional story. Through various and different platforms of social media, students can acquire or obtain effective writing skills and approaches and acquire and learn new words or vocabularies, which is according to Malia 2013. With that being said, they may understand the unfamiliar words and they have encountered and incorporate them in their writing. But the negative effects of using it haven't been very much acknowledged. The extent of utilizing social media by students and its effect on their creative writing skills hasn't been gaining sufficient attention to be addressed as a problem. So therefore, this problem is needed to be addressed and focused on so teachers, parents, and especially students of Mindoro State University can be aware of the certain effects of using social media on skills in creative writing. The researchers decided to dedicate their attention to this problem because most students of BSN freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus are users of social media and are mostly exposed to subjects related to creative writing. Therefore, this has given the researchers enough reason and motivation to conduct this study. The purpose and importance of this study is to analyze and investigate the certain effects and impacts of social media use on the creative writing skills of students of BSN freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus. It also aims to see if social media may help students improve their writing skills as one of the approaches for them to learn to read and write well in English. It is also to see how much social media assists students in improving their writing skills in the target language. For the statement of the problem, the study aims to answer the following question. First is, what is the extent of utilization of social media platforms of BSN freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus in terms of Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube? Second is, what is the level of creative writing skills of BSN freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus in terms of poetry and fictional story? Third is there a significant difference on the level of creative writing skills of the three social media users? Fourth is there a significant relationship between the extent of utilization of social media and the level of creative writing skills of BSN freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus? Fifth is, based on the result of the study, what instructional material will be proposed? For the statement of the hypothesis, first is there is no significant difference on the level of creative writing skills of the three social media users. Second is there is no significant relationship between social media and the creative writing skills of BSN freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus. So this study is anchored to three theories. First is the sociocultural theory of human learning. Lev Vygotsky is the proponent of sociocultural theory, in which he elucidates that learning happens in a social procedure where human interaction occurs. This theory supports the study because social media was also used as a part of the instructional process It promotes cognitive growth through experience activities such as meaningful interactions, constructive criticisms, and interaction with others. Next is the uses and gratification theory, which is also known as UGT. Elihu Katz and J. Blumler are the proponents of this theory and was founded in the early 1940s. This theory supports the study in a way that students use social media as their tool to share and provide information to others as they desire. Because cognitive is one of the theory's 5 needs, the information found on many pages individuals visit and information they gain from watching videos enable them to analyze and gain new terminologies and experiences that are necessary in creative writing. Lastly is cultivation analysis theory. This theory was formulated by George Gerbner as a means to study the effect of television to viewers. The researchers used this theory as a basis for conducting this study about the impacts of social media. Since students have been exposed to television and other platforms for as long as they can remember, television has long been their primary source of knowledge. As a result, it has an impact on their cognitive function as well as their writing skills. So the last part of our study is the conceptual framework. The conceptual framework of the study contains 2 sets of variables. The extent of utilization of social media platforms of BS Ed freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus in terms of Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube is the independent variable of the study. On the other hand, the level of creative writing skills of BS Ed freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus in terms of poetry and fictional story is the dependent variable of the study. So the one-headed arrow connecting the independent and dependent variable represents the significant difference on the level of creative writing skills of the 3 social media users, and the significant relationship between the extent of utilization of social media and the level of creative writing skills of BS Ed freshmen of Mindoro State University's Calapan City Campus. So at the end of the study at hand, a booklet will be made that contains information on how social media can be a tool to improve students' creative writing skills. So that is all for the first chapter.
I will discuss the chapter 2 of our research, which is the review of related literature. To begin, according to Alruba in 2016 and Purcell 2013, social media enhances the students' creativity in writing and expression. In addition, the National Writing Project and the Internet and American Life Project found out that teachers believe that social media improves students' creative writing skills. These findings of different authors are relevant for the researchers because we want to find out the significant association between social media and writing skills. According to the study of Boonggaling and Kaiga 2018, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are the most popular apps for gathering and sharing documents, as well as communicating with people all over the world. Studies 2019 reveals that there are 75 million Filipino active users using Facebook. In addition, according to Statista Research Department 2021, the surge in user numbers demonstrates that Filipinos spend more than 4 hours each day on social media. Furthermore, JARF 2018 found that Facebook encourages students to write and share ideas and information as well as produce creative works of art. However, Junko 2012 found that students who use Facebook strictly for educational purposes, such as sharing and acquiring information, have positive academic outcomes. Hashim et al. 2018 focused on the good and negative effects of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram on students' writing skills and found out that using social media possesses disadvantages, especially to students. The GOHAI 2021 conducted a study about the perceptions of youth students at UM Tagum College on the role of social media in creative writing. The study reveals 2 primary themes, which are social media exposes students to untrustworthy references and information, and it must be used responsibly. Grand Canyon University 2020 and Duke University 2020 characterized that creative writing is an outlet for people to express themselves through human expressions. While Paragas and Francisco 2020 states that creative writing gives students a place to openly express themselves in a creative and insightful way. They also define creative writing as the inscription of signs and symbols. Poetry as a form of creative writing has now been published on social media sites such as Twitter, wherein some authors like Haig and Johnson termed it as digital poetry. However, Kumar and Cruz 2019 discovered that the use of hashtags in Twitter is a sort of informal learning that relies on coding schemas. Boscourt et al. 2016 suggested that microblogging platforms like Twitter can be used to enhance creative writing activities. In conclusion, the study done by Esman et al. 2017 found that students' tendency to utilize social media has resulted in a rise in usage. There was a minor but significant link between social media exposure and creative writing abilities. Because social media has a substantial impact on students' creative writing abilities, the combined studies and literature were all interrelated. And that ends the review of literature of our research.
So for the research methodology, our the researchers will implement quantitative research, which will specifically use correlational research design. The researchers will conduct this study at Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus, located at Barangay Masipit, Calapan City, Oriental, Mindoro. Respondents of the study will be BS and freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus. So these BS and freshmen are major in science, mathematics, and Filipino. So 59 respondents or students will be randomly selected to become the respondents of the study, and it was calculated using the Rausoft sample size calculator. So simple random sampling technique is the technique that the researchers will use to gather the respondents of the study. So for the research instrument, self-made questionnaire is the instrument that the researchers will use to gather data from the respondents, and it will be administered via Google form. It is composed of related questions for each indicator. So for the first part of the questionnaire, we'll use verbal frequency scale, and for the second part of the questionnaire, it will use a writing test appropriate to measure the level of creative writing skills of BS and freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus. So the 5 points verbal frequency scale will be used by the researchers to interpret and determine the impact of social media using the indicators of independent variable given in the study. So this will be used to address statement problem number 1. The analytic rubrics and writing test proficiency level will be used by the researchers to score, interpret, and determine the level of creative writing skills using the indicators of the dependent variable given in the study. The rubric for poetry and the rubric for fictional story will be used by the researchers to score the answers of the respondent. The table presented shows the writing test proficiency level together with its equivalent percentage and description, and this will be the basis of the researchers to determine the level of creative writing skills of the respondents. So before we will go into it, determine the level of creative writing skills of the respondents, we will use first the 30-item test transmutation table together with its equivalent percentage to transmute the scores of the respondents after using the analytic rubrics. So for the validation of the instrument, the research instrument will be validated by our research advisor for vetting, correction, and approval. Additionally, the instrument, specifically the questionnaires created for the dependent variable along with the rubrics, will be validated by the 3 English instructors for vetting, correction, and approval also. For the data gathering procedure, the researchers will use a simple random sampling technique in which 59 students will be randomly selected from the BS and freshmen of Mindoro State University. Researchers will seek first approval to the advisor if the questionnaire is ready to administer. Once approved, the researchers will explain the purpose of conducting the study to randomly selected respondents. Afterwards, administering of the questionnaire will be done via Google form, and the respondents will be given enough time since the questionnaire is composed of 2 parts. So for the statistical treatment of data, the following statistical measures will be used for the analysis and interpretation of data. First is the arithmetic mean. So arithmetic mean will be used by the researchers to address statement problem 1 and number 2, in which to determine the extent of utilization of social media platforms and level of creative writing skills of BS and freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus. Analysis of variance and post hoc test will be used by the researchers to address statement problem number 3, in which states to determine the significant difference on the level of creative writing skills of the 3 social media users. The last, PRs and R, will be used by the researchers to address statement problem number 4, in which to determine the significant relationship between the extent of utilization of social media and the level of creative writing skills of BS Ed freshmen of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus. So that concludes our presentation. Thank you for listening.